being an expat will change you forever. Yep, it sounds really dramatic, but I can definitely say I'm not the same person I was before I was an expat. Over a decade abroad, and I have had so much rewarding and challenging change in my life, so let me tell you about it. Let's go. So here we are, folks, in Belgrade, Serbia. I've now relocated here from Copenhagen. It was a little bit of a struggle to get used to the city noise again, all the traffic, honking horns, but here I am, pretty used to it at this point. And I wanted to share with you guys some of the ways that being an expat changed me forever. Because it's a very important thing to discuss because, well, being an expat sets you apart from a lot of people who would never take the opportunity to live in another country by choice. And, you know, this might apply also to digital nomads and might also apply to, long-term travelers and people like that. But it's very different than the immigrant experience that a lot of people might know from their grandparents' stories or their parents' stories or their own story and stuff like that. Being an expat, I would define it as going out into the world to explore and live in another country to enrich yourself. It's less about economic opportunity and it's more about the journey of actually trying to change yourself and add something to your character. So it definitely changes you. And having done this for 11 years full-time, and then the 3 years before that was like part-time expating, and before that I was a traveler for a few months, a year or whatever. It slowly seeps into you, and now I cannot even imagine living in my home country of Canada. So let's get into it, folks. How will being an expat change you forever? So the first thing I want to mention, broadening your horizons. This is the obvious one, which actually I think might not be that obvious to the people back home when you go and visit them. How enriching it is to live in another country if they've never tried it, and if they've never tried it for the reasons of enriching themselves. So by getting to know another culture, the one that I sort of spent the most time in so far is this place right here, Belgrade, Serbia. And the emotions, the customs, the language, the modes of expression of the people, the possibility, the different styles of urbanism, the different ways of expressing that wonderful thing we call human life, human beings. And being able to plug into another culture, learn from it, let the feelings of it absorb into you, it broadens your horizons. And yeah, you'll find that the people back home don't know what you're on about, because they follow the default life, little variations away from that. And well, you are the expat. You are the person who got away, who broke free of the mind control of the home culture and all that sort of stuff. You're the daring one, you're the freak, you're the misfit. And a lot of us do become expats because we are misfits. We don't fit in the societies that we're born in. And so, yeah, I will definitely say it broadens your horizons. And even if you go back to your home country afterwards, you will never be the same. You will never be the same having tried different stuff in life, whether it's, falling in love with people from different cultures, whether it's different diets, exercise regimes, lifestyles, places to live, like whether it's living in nature like where I was in Copenhagen in Thailand recently, where I'm going back very soon in a few months. And yeah, broadens your horizons, and it's an amazing thing. And I would, if I had a country, I would make all the people of my country at the age of 20 years old leave for at least 2 years. If you want to be wimpy and hang out at the embassy with the other people from your country, do it. But me, as a dictator of a country, I'd kick all the youth out and tell them it's at least 2 years before they can come back. So, yeah. The next thing is, beyond broadening your horizons, which is a external way that you're relating to the world, I will also say that your identity will change. The core of your identity will change by becoming an expat. I'm meaning just being a foreigner in another country gives you a different identity than you ever had at home, where you're just another person from that culture. You're just another person trying to fit in and do all the same things as all the other people. No. As an expat, you are a foreigner. You are comparing yourself to the other culture. You're comparing back home to that. You're comparing back home to how it worked for you and how the new culture works for you. And I've had people who were expats and then went back to their home country. One girl from the USA, who I knew here in 2014, here in Serbia. I was hanging out with her, and I talked to her this year, and she said it's amazing how much she still has, having lived in Serbia, a part of her identity. So your identity will change, and well, the next thing is, as a further thing to that, you'll feel more special and unique. Your identity will really flourish in the ways that you get to leave behind the things that didn't suit your identity, that were sort of defaulted onto you in your home country. And you will bring the new, fresh you into the new country. And since you're a foreigner, you're special and unique. You're defining your own special and unique persona, the new person you want to be in the new country. Whenever you go to the place, take the good from the past and try to leave as much of the bad behind, and you have the chance to craft that special and unique persona and be perceived fresh by the people that you meet, whether they're other expats, locals, or anybody else. And so the next thing, being a foreigner and being special and unique, and being isolated from your home country, and well, you will feel more lonely. And dealing with this loneliness that comes from disconnecting from your home country, it'll be a journey, folks. And you'll feel more lonely. And then the second part of this part is you will develop better social skills. What that means is, once you're in a new country, crafting this new persona for yourself, you might not know anybody, and you have to start from zero. Start from zero in making the lifestyle you want. Start from zero in making friends, and you'll develop better social skills. And through the universal experience of having to start fresh in a new place, you will have more in common with more people. As you travel more and more countries, you will see that basically there's a lot that you can have in common with all sorts of people in this world. And by developing those social skills, you sort of emphasize that part that wants to connect with different people from around the world, especially in expat scenes and places like that. It's very useful to be able to, just connect with as many different people as possible. The next one is your idea of community will change. I mean, community where you grew up is likely the people you went to school with, the people your family introduced you to, the types of people you would meet socializing out in your home city or place, and that's a very default community. And there's lots of sort of preset sort of assumptions and habits of communication and all that stuff that sort of comes with that. And your sense of community will change when you move to a new place, because you'll realize who you want to associate, who you don't want to associate with, without all the pretext of, all that built-up social hierarchy and social connections that you had growing up in a place. So that will change, and you'll find that you'll have a lot more in common with other expats in a lot of cases than a lot of locals. And you're building your community not based on what the default is, but based on who you want to be spending time with, because you're starting fresh, as I said. And even if you go back to your home country, this shift in who you want to be around and what types of people you attract, you'll be there forever. Like you'll have changed your social configuration forever by getting out of your shell, getting out there and seeing who and what the world has to offer you. The next way being an expat will change you forever is you won't want what the other people who you grew up with want. You won't want what you wanted before, what you thought you want from life. That stuff will become pretty irrelevant, actually, because, you're turning a new leaf, aren't you? And you're allowing yourself to have this experience wash over your soul and change you. And so you probably, through that experience, you will decide that you want more experience from life. Lots of people want that sort of like ideal middle class lifestyle, secure job, the house, the car, the kids, the this, the that, the other thing. And you're not going to want those things anymore, because you will, through becoming an expat, see that the most valuable things in life are experiences. And what people are chasing when they want to get like a nice car or any sort of material object is they're chasing experiences of owning those things. But as you become a traveler, you realize that owning things is not what makes you happy, what makes stories that you're going to tell for years to come. What makes those stories that you're going to tell for years to come is what you're doing, where you're going, how you're feeling, who you're sharing these moments with, and what you're actually achieving on sort of a emotional or even spiritual level. So yeah, fuck all those default things that everybody wanted back home. You as an expat will likely depart from those things forever. Or at least even if you do, in the end, get some of those things, they won't be as important. They won't be the be-all and end-all of your life. So the next thing is you'll have more options in life being an expat. You'll be less fulfilled by them as well. So what I mean by this is like people who have more options in life are less happy. And yeah, I mean, at one point, it's great to know that at any point you can move to a new country. You've done that before. You've seen how that changed you. You survived. You became stronger through it. On one hand, that's great. But it leads to this sort of constant questioning of, am I in the right place? And can I do better than this? Why did I end up here? How did I end up here? And all the possibilities of other stuff you could be doing, experiencing, so on and so forth. So expect to like see so many more options in your life as an expat of places to live, and be willing, and you will be willing to accept the fact that you're interested in settling for less of them. The next way that being an expat will change you forever is you will have less regrets. I'm saying that if you're the sort of person who goes where they want and does what they want and crafts a life in a foreign country as an expat, gringo, whatever you want to call it, and really gives a good push to become the person that you actually want to be, you'll have a lot less regrets than the people who just default their life, as I mentioned so many times in this video. Defaulting your life leads to regrets because basically you're pandering to all the sort of expectations of other people and what they want for your life, what they think you should do, comparing yourself to this guy's car and that guy's girlfriend and stuff like that. But once you tap in through traveling and being lonely, developing social skills and all the stuff I mentioned, and you go through that journey and you really optimize your life, take risks, like moving abroad is a huge risk, and you take those risks and you become stronger because of it. And you have all these experiences, as I mentioned, which are the real things that make life worthwhile. Well, after that, you will have less regrets, and that you can take to your grave. I'm not saying you will not have less regrets. I'm not saying you will not have regrets. I'm saying that you will have less regrets. So after all that, I'll just summarize that in most cases, for most expats, and especially me, I mean, I was born in a multicultural environment anyway, with my family, one part of the family coming from one place, one from the other. So I was already sort of like multicultural. But by being an expat, I really became transcultural. Now, this is what I understand from, for example, people who are transsexual. I understand these people because they don't fit in the boxes that society gives them. And me being a guy who grew up in Canada, I don't fit in the box that Canada gave me to be a person. I busted out of that thing. You could argue that I was given a pretext to that by my upbringing. My father from Europe, and making sure I knew the old world and was exposed to a diversity of experiences around the world as a child and stuff like that. But I feel that by living abroad for a long time, I've become transcultural, and I no longer really feel like just a person from Canada. I have a fluid cultural identity of basically European, North American, and something I like to call World Beast 9000, which is my cultural pronoun if you want. So, with all that aside, tell me in the comments what you think. If you agree with me about some of this stuff, if you disagree, if there's stuff I've left out that's really special for you of how being an expat has changed you, write it in the comments below. This is Rising Nomad. We are a YouTube channel and also a community of people around the world, and we're looking for the best lives possible to tweak this life so it can be amazing. So you can join our community in the link below, and thanks a lot for watching, and greetings from Belgrade, Serbia. And one last thing for you people who are not yet expats and want to try the lifestyle of living in another country, just want to take the plunge, just fucking do it. Catch you later. This is Rising Nomad.